10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Karl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Karl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Karl way.
Keen Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keen, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services in commercial construction to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keen can work for you at ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeen.com.
Experience the world's largest sports book at your fingertips.
I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor and owner of Circa Sports. We built this platform for bettors that want high limits and total transparency.
Featuring high limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional live customer service when you need it.
Hi, how may I help you today?
Download your new bookie today and start betting like a pro.
Circa Sports.
Wow. Welcome to the Karl Chevrolet postgame show here from the bowels of Hilton Coliseum. I had to get out of the arena because it was so loud in there after Iowa State. I'm not going to call it an upset. It wasn't an upset, but Iowa State beats number 2 Houston 70-67 in dramatic fashion. Iowa State trailed the Cougars by 10 with 7 minutes to play, and the Cyclones went on a 10-0 run of their own. And there's so much to get to. I do want to remind everybody we're going to have postgame well into the night with CF After Dark as soon as I go off the air. So remember that. Those guys are hanging on. I'll give you the recap here, and then we'll throw it to those guys for more analysis in the Northwest Bank studios. So much to get to. The first takeaway I have from this game. Oh, and I cannot forget this because I don't want to get too much into it. My baby girl she turned 11 today. And she was kind of sad that Daddy was going to be gone tonight, but she said, I just want the Cyclones to get the win for my birthday. So, Cammie, happy birthday, buddy. They got it for you. I know you're watching back home, and I love you. That was pretty awesome. I love you too, Elise. I don't want to leave you out. It's her half birthday. It's Elise's half birthday. So, great job by my little girls. The Cyclones got that for them today. All right. The biggest takeaway I have from that game is the fact that in that run where Iowa State goes on the 10-0 run to tie it back up after being down 10, it was a situation where Milan Momcilovic is on the bench. And I put out a tweet. I want to find it because, when you make dumb comments, you need to own up to them. And I don't think it was dumb at the time. But it was exactly 36 minutes ago at 9:44. I don't know where we're at in the game. I think I said Blake Buchanan is playing great, but you can't have him be your leading scorer against perhaps the best team in the country. The big three needs to get going if Iowa State is going to pull this one out. I also made another comment. Again, we own it when we're wrong. We own it when we are wrong. This was at 10:02. The Cyclones are currently 10 of 17 from the free throw line. Down 2 with 3:07 to play. And I said 10 of 19. Free throws could very well be the dagger in this one. Thought it was the case. Thought they were going down at the free throw line. That's what it felt like. It felt like Lipsy, he goes 3 of 6 from the free throw line. Josh, 4 of 10 from the field today. Momcilovic, a very rare 3 of 9 game. Right? Where's the big three? Well, when you have guys like Nate Heisey and Jamarian Bateman making nail shots the way that they did, boy, it sure lightens that up. And no offense to you, Blake Buchanan. I love you, Blake Buchanan. You played an incredible basketball game tonight, but it did feel that way, right? Jefferson ends up leading Iowa State tonight with 12, but it didn't feel like it. It was kind of a quiet 12, although he did have 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists to go with that. But Iowa State was a very balanced basketball team tonight, and I would guess that's going to be the focal point of TJ Altenberger's press conference, is this was the epitome of a team win, right? For a team that is primarily led by 3 guys that I could make the argument all 3 should be All-Americans. They won't be, but I could make the argument that all 3 should be All-Americans in Jefferson, Momcilovic, and Tamin Lipsey. They all have the credentials for that. It was other guys down the stretch making huge plays, and this is starting to become a trend, and it's why I'm so bullish on this Iowa State team as it heads into the month of March. Plata, 8 points tonight in 15 minutes. Jamarian Bateman, young Tyrus McGee, reminds me so much of him, but he's a better defender. 2 of 5 tonight, but 6 points in those threes, and you knew that he had the heat check. He's shooting with so much confidence. Nate Heisey, talking about him at the end of the Kansas game, how he hits the 3, staves off the Kansas run. He had 11 points tonight, damn near led Iowa State in scoring. Torrey hit a 3. I thought Torrey's stretch, there was the point where I think it was just started that 10-0 run. Iowa State comes out of the timeout. Torrey attacks 2 times in a row, gets some cheap possessions. But it really is incredible to me that Iowa State was able to beat this Houston team that hit 12 threes tonight and did go 11 of 22 from the free throw line. I think it's something to talk about here. It really, on a night where Iowa State wasn't shooting particularly well, it ended up much better at 40.9% from 3. Didn't look like that for a while. Iowa State was 0 of 10 from 3 at one point in the second half. You know, you look at other areas, like where are you going to get your points from? Where are you going to manufacture these points from? Iowa State was missing the front end of 1-and-1s. They couldn't buy a shot. But you know, they get some. I thought they get a favorable call on that kick, I think, at the top of the key. And Houston got into foul trouble, which I thought was crucial. You know, we didn't see a lot. I don't think Emmanuel Sharp scored a point in the second half. Let me confirm that. No, he didn't. Sharp only played 8 minutes in the second half. Tugler got into foul trouble. Flemings got into foul trouble. And Iowa State somehow, I can't wait to go home and watch that game again because it's kind of hard when you're – but Iowa State somehow is able to pull it out. The other point I would make here, and I would guess – so Houston had 2 turnovers at halftime. Houston is one of the best teams in the country when it comes to taking care of the basketball. And this is why it's a difficult matchup for Iowa State, because when is Iowa State at its best? When they get into transition. Iowa State wasn't able to get into transition much tonight against Houston, but when they did, they really took advantage of it. 7 turnovers. Again, 5 of those came in the second half. Iowa State gets 12 points off of the 5 turnovers. I mean, how many of those were in the second half? 7 in the second. That was the difference. That's what won Iowa State the game, as they started turning the Cougars over. And Iowa State took care of the basketball. They weren't shooting great. Only 3 turnovers tonight against one of the best defenses in the country. So that is a giant look at this game tonight. And sorry, I haven't been reading any of your comments because I've just been looking at the box score. But I want to talk again about Bateman and the Momcilovic thing. That is the story of the game to me. The fact, because when you look, it felt like Bateman had more than 2 makes. For Otts, I can't wait to watch his postgame. I wish I was in it right now. For him to roll with Bateman the way that he did, that's just really good instinctive coaching. There was really good coaching on both sides of the floor tonight. Another key play, I thought, in this game, into the first half, and I'm sure Otts and the coaching staff told him to do it, but Tamin Lipsey getting the really quick shot off at the end of the half to buy the 2-for-1. Then Torrey goes to the line. You know, just really smart basketball, I thought, all night long. I want to talk about the atmosphere and the crowd. I want to give away our preferred pest control pest of the game, but I do have to thank all of our great sponsors who make this possible. First, I'll start with the Natuzel family and Raymond James. They are financial advisors, and I'm sure that if I know Clay, he's drinking a bourbon right now and celebrating tonight's Cyclone victory. The Natuzels, thank you to you guys. Also, our friends over at Keen Project Solutions. Go to thinkdifferentthinkKeen.com. That's spelled Keen. They big-time supporters of what we do, and I love that company. I love visiting them. They're just really good people in general. Okay, let's get to our pest of the game with our friends from Preferred Pest Control, and then I want to talk about the crowd and just some big picture stuff when it comes to that. I'm gonna say, so I had two guys. I'm gonna give it to Emmanuel Sharp for Houston. He feels there's like a little bit of like Perry Ellis, George Niang. It doesn't feel like that guy's been in the league for 45 years. Emmanuel Sharp, you're a pest, but I like you. I like watching you play. You don't annoy me at all. I'll be sad when you're the Big 12 is a better league when you're in it, but you are a pest. Taman Lipsey was a massive pest tonight for Iowa State. Again, he didn't go to the last minute of the game. That free throw at the end. Where I tell my buddy Ben next to me when Buchanan gets fouled, and I said, "Oh God, Buchanan's not making the front end of this 1-on-1." He didn't. Lipsey just comes in, swats it away. He's a pest. That's what he does. He's made an entire career out of being a pest. And Taman Lipsey tonight, again, not a great offensive night for Taman. He did have 9. Not a bad night for him, but 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And I'll give Taman Lipsey the pest of the game with our friends at Preferred Pest Control. Probably ratcheting up with all these 70-degree days. But I'll give it to Emmanuel Sharp, and I give it to him out of love because I think that he's an incredible player, and I've really enjoyed watching him compete in the Big 12. And he was fantastic tonight until he got into foul trouble, and then things kind of got jacked up from that point in for Emmanuel. I wanted to talk big picture, and then we'll get ready for after dark with the fellas. The older you get, you start to you don't want to do the latest and greatest thing. I used to do that all the time when I was in my 20s. That's the best win ever. It's the best shot I've ever seen. And then like another dude hits another one in 3 weeks, and then you say it again, and then I do think, and I ran by some more seasoned reporters because I didn't want to overplay it. I think that was the best Hilton I've ever seen. Now, granted, I need to be fair. I didn't start coming into this building until 2003. Okay, so take that for what it's worth. I think that was the best Hilton I've ever seen. And the reason I say that is the pregame atmosphere. For the first time in my career doing this, I could not hear the announcer, the PA guy, during starting lineups. I couldn't hear their names. That has never happened to me before. Okay, and I thought it really stood out to me. So I'm talking to my guy Rob Bodholt, who has been around Iowa State forever. Okay, this guy is an encyclopedia, and he came up to me. So I didn't approach him. I didn't put this in his head. Okay, Bodholt says to me, "I don't think this place can get much louder." And I go, well, I was just telling some friends that I think this is as loud as it's ever been. And he goes, the only thing I can compare it to, and again, this is a guy who's been at literally like every Iowa State game, unless like somebody has died, okay? Rod is always here shooting these games. And he said, it's the 87 LeFester game is the only thing I can compare this to. And I mean, I wasn't at that game, so I can't, but I'm thinking back to all the great Kansas games and I think this was it. I really do. And I don't know if it came across on TV like that. I do know that when Iowa State came out and hit all those threes to start, the pops for those threes, when Milan hit that first three at the top of the key, it was like, jeez. So I just really I thought it was well done. The gold thing was perfect, and the crowd, I think that it was the perfect scenario for that, coming off of that Kansas game and then coming back here 2 days later for Big Monday. And that's where I'm going to close this. And I hope, and again, I haven't watched it. I will watch it again tonight when I get home. I'm hoping that was just like a huge infomercial for what Iowa State's program has become.
Scott Van Pelt went on the air for about 10 minutes and did the infomercial for Iowa State. So.
What did he say, Aiden? Give us some.
Well, I'm going to have to go back and watch it because we're live here. But
Okay,
just
yeah.
having it on the TV, they are still talking about
It was
Iowa
awesome.
State.
It was incredible. Did it?
Yeah.
Was it awesome on TV the whole time?
It was, yeah. It totally lived up to the hype. I don't know if they cranked up the crowd mics for the first time in a while, but it seemed like
I don't
you
think
know,
so. Maybe that was the case, but I mean, I'm telling
it was
you,
loud. It was
again,
loud.
I've done a lot of these, and I've never experienced where you can't hear pregame introductions. And I even thought to myself, is the music louder? Right? Like, and I don't, because I could hear when he goes, TJ Otzelberger, like that was the same. Like it wasn't any different. And then I did not hear them say Milan Momcilovic's name. It was that loud. And then they were so engaged too, because one of the biggest plays of that game, Aiden, when Houston hits that 3 right at the start. Because if Iowa State gets a stop there, like that crowd, pregame was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. What a cool night. What a cool night.
Some notes that they shared on
Yeah, let's hear it.
SVP.
Let's hear it.
That's a 9-game winning streak for Iowa State at home against AP top 10 teams.
Wow, what a stat.
It's tied for the longest winning streak in Big 12 history.
Really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And good point, Gina, who's watching us on X. Apparently, SVP is talking about the Heisey family and his sister who plays for the United States hockey team. What a cool deal for those parents, the Heisey family, to be able to do that. I mean, Nate.
He was player of the game for ESPN, by the way.
Yeah,
Like, he was the post-game interview, so.
I was just going to say that.
Cool.
I think if I had to give a player of the game, it would definitely be to Nate Heisey. Because he usually does it in a pretty quiet way, and there's nothing quiet. 3 for 3 from 3, 6 rebounds, 26. This was one of those Fred Hoiberg quotes where you couldn't afford to take him out of the game. So really, really special stuff. I thought that it was a very memorable night, one that I know I will never forget here at Hilton Coliseum, and much needed almost 5 days off before you go to that BYU game, because that team, to get those 2 wins, the Kansas game I felt pretty good about. This was the one where it's because I have so much respect for Houston and Kelvin Sampson and just everything that program is about. They're just so damn tough. And now they're not only just tough, but they have shooters. Because it used to be Sampson's teams would come and like those teams that were in the American that were they were just nasty. They didn't have a lot of skill to go with them. This team has that, and they showed it tonight. And they hit some damn tough shots early on. And I was thinking to myself at one point in the first half when they just kept hitting 3 after 3. I was thinking to myself, if Iowa State loses and it's like this, I'm not even going to feel that bad about it because nobody's beating this team tonight. And to really get, just okay games from your best players, offensively at least, and to be as poor as you were from the free throw line and to be able to come away with the win, really, really good stuff tonight for Iowa State. Could not be more happy for this team. Let's do a really quick check of the metrics, and then we'll go to the After Dark guys. They're going to be much more entertaining than me. Okay, so.
We also, while you find those metrics, we have some. Go to
Oh.
CF Shop. Can't
Dude,
forget this.
if you don't
Now is
own-
the time.
Yeah, if you don't own the Heisey glue guy shirt, like my old buddy Melvin Edgem would get pissed when people called him the glue guy. Don't call Nate Heisey a glue guy. Love it.
Also, this buy 3, save 10 goes to the
Yes.
end of the month. So
Oh, okay. That goes
Take
through
advantage of that.
February. So the code is MBB Cyclones at CycloneFanaticShop.com. Hell, buy them all and collect these things.
and it means a lot to these guys when you wear their shirt to the arena. That's cool stuff. Okay, so Iowa State didn't move in KenPom, and that doesn't really surprise me because I think they were favored to win this game, and you win by 3. So as far as the computer goes, you didn't really do anything you weren't supposed to do. Offense 14, defense still at 6. So not a lot of movement there tonight by the Cyclones when it comes to KenPom. But most importantly, you pick up another quad 1 win. And over the last 3 days, you've got 2 of those with wins over 2 teams that are among the top 6 or 7 in the entire country. So enjoy that, and you get a few days off before the game at BYU. Again, you can join us. We're having a book event at Reclaimed Rails in Bondurant on Saturday night. We're going to have a game watch, 9:30, so we're going to go late. But we will be having a game watch for that BYU game on Saturday night. Cannot wait for that. Right now, Iowa State will be around to pick them in that. Now, I don't know with the Saunders injury how it's going to impact the BYU stuff. We'll have to wait and see on that. They play at Arizona on Wednesday. So we'll sit back and do a little scouting of the Cougars. So a tough stretch for them to go to Arizona, and then they got to play this Iowa State game on Saturday night. All right, we'll throw it to the After Dark guys. Good stuff. Karl Chevrolet postgame here in the Northwest Bank Studios. Jake Brind and Rob Gray will have complete coverage of the press conference afterwards. All right, we'll see you guys, Williams and Bloom, on Wednesday morning at 9. Later.